Chelsea are taking full advantage as Kudos has handed in a verbal transfer request and Ajax are ready to meet his demands. Calum Hudson gets a move to where? Well, we'll talk about it because Lazio is sniffing around and so is one Premier League club. But Chelsea beat Brighton 4-3, and is it safe to say that Mauricio Pochettino just confirmed that Levi Colwell's staying? And more importantly, we've got our Chelsea back. The standards are back, the fight is there, the desire is there. I don't care if it's pre-season. The intangibles are all visible for everyone to see. Let's break it down today. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly from Chelsea's 4-3 victory against Brighton. Let's go. Welcome to the Kavkas View, bratuki. This is your favorite YouTuber's YouTube channel. Like, it's simple as that. Most people that love football content, they usually come back here and enjoy themselves. But all jokes aside, welcome, and you've got the rundown order of what we're going to be talking about. But before we get onto that, I need you lot to do me a massive favor. Hit the like button, alright? It really helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We are sneaking up to 29,000 and it's so slow. So come on, I want to get like 100 subs per day. We're getting out to a lot of new people and you guys are watching more than 60-70%. So why aren't you subscribing? I don't understand. You're enjoying the content. And finally, if you want to leave a super chat or a comment below, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So let's move on with the videos and share the content around as well. That share button does magic. Let's go. So yesterday, I'm sitting on Twitter, I'm scrolling, and I see, boom, Ornstein pops out with some new information, and it turns our Twitter timeline into a frenzy. People start giving applause, people are raving, people are ranting, and it looks like Kudos from Ajax, the Ghanaian international, 22 years old. Looks like Chelsea are seriously in advanced talks with his camp and him, and more importantly, have publicly approached Ajax about acquiring it. So what does this actually mean? Well, it means that Chelsea have spoken to his camp, and evidently the fact that they're in advanced talks, the interest is there. The player wants to come to Chelsea, and Chelsea want to acquire him. Ornstein's reporting that. Chelsea are also going to talk to Ajax over a fee. Ajax, at this moment in time, do not want to sell. Ajax are under no circumstances trying to sell him. Their manager has even come out and reiterated he wants him to stay. He wants him to stay. He wants him to score in the 20s next year, so around about 20 goals, 21, 22. And he wants to win a title or two, and then next year for selling for the double the money. However, Kudos has already said to Ajax, in verbally, look, I want to leave. He hasn't handed in a transfer request, but he verbally said, look, please sell me. Look, there are some ramifications if a player puts a transfer request in. For example, they automatically stop getting paid. So I don't think any player is going to go straight away out the back with, I am leaving, here's my transfer request. But I think it's very telling that he's already reiterated to them, I want to leave. And what's more evident is that we know Ajax is a selling club. You pay the right amount of money and this is your player. They're saying it's going to be in the region of 40 million pounds. I think this is a bargain considering the level of talent that we are looking at. Like, let's be honest, he can play left wing, he can play false 9, his preferred position is number 10, and he's also very competent on the right wing. He's very dynamic, very energetic, great vision, good range of passing. Overall, a very good player. If you watched the World Cup, you saw a lot of him. If you watched some Champions League games from Ajax, you saw a lot of it. I'm not going to sit here and say I know every part of his game because I would be lying to you. But the glimpses I've seen, I've been very impressed. And it's actually really nice to see that our scouts are going after players that are so versatile, that are able to pinpoint young talent that are good in the number 10 role, number 9 role, the wingers, and it just enables us to rotate and be fluid in possession. And if someone gets injured, God forbid, we have a perfect replacement. Do I want this deal to happen? Well, we're going to get into that later in the video, and we're going to talk about Angelo and Carney then. And then I will tell you about glimpses of whether I want this deal to happen or not. Speaking of deals that are meant to happen, it looks like Calum Hudson-Odoi is one step closer from leaving Chelsea Football Club. Calum Hudson-Odoi was playing under Maurizio Sarri at Chelsea. Sarri had a long-term plan for him where he was going to develop him slowly, bring him into the squad, and by the time Calum was around 23, 24, he was going to become a regular starter. Sarri was very open and transparent. However, timelines got hastily rushed, and more importantly, Calum got an injury. And once he got that injury, it really pushed him back, lost his explosiveness, went on loan to Bayer Leverkusen. In my opinion, didn't capitalize the way he would have wanted. And now it looks like he's set to leave. The player is asked to leave the club. He might be going to Juventus. Fulham have already put a bid in that Chelsea have rejected because they didn't deem it appropriate, nor did they deem it valuable enough to sell the player at that level. And what's going to be interesting for me personally is if he chooses to stay in the Premier League or go work with Sarri. For me, has to be with Sarri. Reason being is Sarri is going to develop you, wingman. Sarri is going to be able to give you a system where you will flourish. You're going to play in a league that's a little bit slower, so you don't need to be as explosive. And more importantly, you're going to have Champions League football. On top of Champions League football, you're going to have a team that consistently wins and competes for top 4 and maybe even top 2. I think last year they finished 2nd. Sarri done a very good job at Lazio, and I really want this for Calum. I think Calum has got a tremendous amount of potential. I think his time at Chelsea is over, but I don't think his time at the top of football, in the sense of top leagues internationally, so in Spain, Italy, France, or England, is over. I think he's going to have a long, illustrious career, hopefully at a very good level, and we'll see a lot more of him in the Champions League. Now let's talk about the preseason. And like I always reiterate when we talk about preseason, guys, this is preseason. Preseason is a time about fitness, but we are fans and we can get carried away with certain elements of performances, from glimpses. And I want to talk about the way Levi Colwell played yesterday. Levi Colwell highlighted to everybody that said, he's acting like he's a spoiled brat. Oh, he's not good enough. Oh, Levi thinks he's better than he is. Well, you know what? Levi might have gave away a penalty yesterday for being reckless and rash. I think Levi Colwell's passing really insinuated what we could become with him in the team. And when everybody's firing, his passing was amazing. His ability to just receive the ball under pressure and then have a willing runner and curl it beautifully was John Terry-esque. If any of you remember the goal where John Terry switched the ball to Ashley Cole and Ashley Cole took it down and then absolutely scored. I think it was against Wigan. The passing range on Colwell yesterday reminded me of John Terry. I don't throw that out lightly. I don't like to compare players of the present to the players of the past. But for me, it was wonderful to see. And after the game, Mauricio Pochettino basically confirmed. He said, we're not selling him. He's going to be one of the best defenders in England. He's going to stay. He's our player and we want him to stay. And this was enough for me to just ease my mind. Number 2, what was another positive? Nicholas Jackson. Mr. Jackson, I'm sorry, but I was not familiar with your game. When we signed Nicholas Jackson, what did I say? I know nothing about him. What do we do? I never heard of this guy. Is this just Chelsea being cheap? Well, you know what? A man needs to hold his hand up, a woman as well, and admit when they're wrong. I am wrong. I knew nothing about him. I didn't judge him. I said I can't give an opinion. Well, I've seen enough now to say one thing. This man has got something. He is, I'm not saying he's going to be the second coming of Didier Drogba. I'm not saying he's going to be Nicolas Anelka. I'm not saying he's going to be the answer to our prayers at number 9. I am saying he's got something. He is moving me. I am seeing the way he plays. Whether it was the link up with Mikhailo Mudryk for that beautiful first goal, where there's the lovely little here and there. Whether it's the link up with Angelo. Whether it's the assist where he flicks it forward to Conor Gallagher and Conor Gallagher takes it. Whether it's his pressing, whether it's his hold-up play, whether it's his marvellous finish. I like Nicholas Jackson. I like it. Great business, well done to Winstanley and Lawrence. Both of you deserve a good round of applause. You found him, he didn't cost a lot of money, and he looks like someone that's going to contribute this year. Well done. It's too early to get carried away, but I'm excited. Mikhailo Mudryk. That goal was marvelous. The pace that he insinuated and illustrated to all of us when he passed the ball to himself. He literally kicked the ball 30 yards and still beat defenders to it. And still got a good quality crossing. This kid, in my opinion, has got a lot of talent. We need to be realistic and we need to be honest with the expectation we place on him. He's still going to adjust to the league, but I think he's going to be a very good player for Chelsea. One thing we need to talk about now. Angelo and Carney Chukwuemeka. Both of them are taking their opportunity by the scruff of their neck. Both players have been absolutely very productive and, more importantly, very reliable members of the team this preseason. Angelo had a few glimpses where you're like, this guy is uber talented. Like, he's not just talented, he's uber talented. He's stupidly talented. The interchange, the ability, the weight of pass, the feints with his body movement, the way he gets defenders off balance. Defenders are petrified of him. And he, like I said the other day, He's not even quick. He's just average paced. But he still demands that respect. And for me, the question now is, do we go and get Kudos? And that means Carney and Angelo have to go on loan. You can't have that many options. Or do we just keep those two? And this is what happens. Noni and Angelo fight for right wing. Left wing, we end up fighting with Mudryk and Sterling. Number 10, Nkunku. Cover for number 10 will be either Angelo or Carney Chukwuemeka. Carney Chukwuemeka will also be cover for the double pivot. And all of a sudden, you give them valuable game time, 15 games in the Premier League. And this is what I'm leaning to. You bring them on, you give them cup games here and there, and they learn within your system. They integrate within your system. And next year, if Sterling doesn't fix up, you move Sterling on. You have a player that could potentially get promoted into the first team. You don't have to spend money. You've already spent the money to bring Carney Chukwuemeka and Angelo into the club. Is it time now for you to give them an opportunity, or do we go and spend more money on Kudos and then the pathway for Angelo is no longer there? I don't know. I need you lot to let me know what you think, because it's very interesting for me. This is a very tight, and they played well, both of them. Carney's ability to link up the pivot and the attack was for all to see. Everybody saw. Everybody. I'm not even reiterating that. That's how good he was yesterday. And for me as well, Cassidy, I think he needs to go on loan. I think he needs to go and play. I think he's a very good player, but I just think at this moment in time, you can't have him and Santos with what's it called, Caicedo, hopefully, Enzo and Carney. There's just not enough minutes. There isn't enough minutes to go around. Santos is amazing. I've raved about him, and yesterday, some of the ways that he shows for the ball at his young age, it was phenomenal. Like, there were instances, there was one move where he opened up, received the ball from Colwell, moved it out wide, got it from Silva. Silva gave it back to him. He flings it into Carney. Carney does a quick 1-2 with Ian Maatsen. Boom, we're through. Sterling puts it across goal. Maatsen nearly scores. Maatsen's another one. He should be our left back. I'm sorry. I looked at Ben Chilwell's performance yesterday. I looked at Cucurella's performance yesterday. I really think Maatsen should be our left back. Maatsen's technical ability is just far superior to everyone else. And finally, Malo Gusto. A lot of people said to me, Alex, Malo Gusto, great at going forward, can't defend. I read a few stuff. That's literally all I read. Malo Gusto done really well yesterday against Matoma and Enciso, you know, the Paraguayan guy on the left wing. I think he done really well against both of them, one-on-one. And he defended well. Like, he literally, the only mistake he did was he let a runner go. He switched off and let a runner go. But that's something you can work. But one-on-one ability, he was very comfortable. Going forward, very comfortable. On the ball, very comfortable. I was very impressed by him. Honestly, this is very positive for me. I'm never this positive. I was so happy with yesterday's performance, you won't believe. But when there are positives, there are always negatives. And we need to talk about the bad. And in the bad, there's the control in the mid. I think Brighton had better link-up play. I think they've got more patterns. And we are still developing. And that's normal. Under Pochettino, this is new. It's only 3 weeks. But, and this is the thing, but I need more from Gallagher in that double pivot. I think he doesn't do enough for me. I think you have a midfield of Gallagher, Santos and Cassidy. You don't retain the ball well enough. It's too young. The experienced individual just doesn't show for the ball. And it's really frustrating. And finally, Ben Chilwell and Cucurella are worrying. They really are. Ben Chilwell can't defend one-on-one. He really can't. He's good at bombing forward, and I think his game is one of a wing-back now. He's really like transitioned into becoming a proper wing-back. And it's to the point now where I think he loses interest when he defends, because he switches off, runners go off him, he puts people in trouble. Cucurella put Levi Colwell in so much trouble when he came on. Like, literally, he's just getting carried to the ball, and all of a sudden it's like mistake here, mistake there. Yes, he got a very good assist, and yes, we should be praising him for their work going forward, but I want my fullbacks to defend. I really do. Like, I need you to be fundamentally solid one-on-one, and I need you to be competent going forward. It can't be the other way around. It can't be that you're phenomenal going forward, but you're just below competent at defending. I'm sorry, I can't have that. So for me, they really need to improve, but I hope this is just bad form and one of them just reacts. Because like I said, I'd rather have Mats. The ugly, and the ugly is going to upset a few people. But I think a lot of you have said to me, Alex, Raheem Sterling's not good enough. Raheem Sterling needs to be sold. Raheem Sterling is rubbish. And I've always said, guys, he can't be rubbish, right? Raheem Sterling's had a good career. Raheem Sterling gets goals. But this version of Raheem Sterling yesterday and the one we saw in the first game, I think has been poor. Indecisive, The ability to switch off consistently, the ability to run into people's legs, the ability to not know what he's going to do. Really strong, gets away from the defender, but then he's got time and space and he's like, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And it's really worrying and it's really annoying because you want him to be better than, you're 27 years old, you're meant to be going into the prime of your career. And when you go into the prime of your career, these things should be ironed out of your game. And they're not. And it's frustrating to see that Angelo looks more comfortable at making decisions than he does. Mudryk yesterday looked more comfortable at making decisions. And Nkunku, who scored another goal, by the way, looked more comfortable. I just don't know, man. I really don't. It frustrates me. It really does. I expect more from Raheem Sterling. This is why he's in the ugly category today. Like, he is so much better than he is displaying. And finally, Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher got a goal. And a lot of people said, 2-2, look, Conor's back. I'm sorry, Conor Gallagher's not Chelsea corner. Like, I really tried to be positive. I even tried to say, you know what, maybe we keep Conor. Maybe we use him in an emergency. Nah, I can't do it. I telling you now, use Lewis Hall. Use Lewis Hall. This kid cannot play in that position. And I'll explain to you why. He's not good enough to play in the 6 because he can't show for the ball and doesn't have the ability to build attacks. So when he plays there, the onus will automatically go on to Enzo or Caicedo or Santos. And if they get marked out the game, all of a sudden, we're just carrying the passage. He's not good enough to play in that position. We saw that yesterday. When he tried, he lost the ball. When he received it, his awareness wasn't good enough. He was getting picked off the ball. So he panics and he loses it. You move him further forward, he's still not good enough. Because he doesn't have the creativity, he doesn't have the ability to retain the ball in tight areas, and he doesn't have the ability to drive past the man. He is a PMP player. Pace and power player. He will beat you by physicality and commitment. He won't beat you by guile, technique, skill. And hence, this is where the problem arises. What do you do with him? If a bid comes in, £35 million, I'm moving Conor Gallagher. I don't care. I was saying 45, I was saying 40. Nah, he needs to leave. I'm sorry. Enough is enough. This is not me saying he's rubbish. I think he's going to go on and have a great career. Maybe at Spurs, maybe at a Palace. But Chelsea is not those clubs. Chelsea is a club that wants to compete for titles. Chelsea should be demanding competing for titles. And that's just my personal opinion. So before we continue, I need you lot to say, I want to say thank you to you lot for watching this far. I want you lot to hit the like button, please. It really makes a big difference. You made it this far. Subscribe. Share this content out. That does the marvelous jobs. And super chats and comments below if you guys want to ask me any football related questions. Peace out. I'm out. Thank you very much. Bye.